Welcome to today's video. Today, I will discuss with you about the Russia and Ukraine battle. As Russia continued aggression and war in this Ukraine progress, it is clear that the situation will become even more dangerous in the coming days. Not only will this happen on the battlefield, but the potential for danger lies in the potential situation inside Russia and Putin's behavior. Even then, the effects of the war on the global economy will continue to grow. Due to this, the war Ukraine will become more and more terrible in the coming days. Wherever we are, the heat of this war will come upon us. It has already begun to burn. Russia in the march in Ukraine, in any kind of war, those who carry out aggression, they started the war by making various calculations. What is the problem force of the war? Different types of scenarios are created in it. Such exercises are part of war preparation. It doesn't only consider the battlefield issue, it also considers what the response will be and how they will be defeated with. Russia didn't suddenly invade Ukraine. Primarily, preparation for the war began in March-April 2025. At the same time, Russia troops began gathering on the Crimea-Ukraine border where Russia troops were conducting exercises. The purpose was to bring military equipment to the occasion and later use it during the aggression. The second phase of this aggression plan started in November-December last year. A report released by the US Central Intelligence Agency late last year stated that Russia could in 2022 post-December 3, 2021. That is why the Russia aggression that started on February 22 is not an unplanned or a sudden event. But what is surprising is that much of the calculation that Russia started this war seems to be wrong. The idea that Russia would be able to occupy Ukraine in a very short time was not correct. 2 weeks later, Russia failed to occupy the capital. Show proves that the Russian army and civils have been able to mount a major resistance. One of the reasons Russia forces are unable to advance on the battlefield is the weather in Ukraine. That being said, the weather in Russia and Ukraine is such that the end of the fall or autumn, the unpaved roads become so muddy that it's almost impossible for tanks or armored vehicles to advance. Looking at many pictures of the armored field heading towards Kyiv, it seems that the Russia forces are stuck in March. But this need to be considered symbolic in one sense. The reason for the martialite is not just weather, but Russia as well. Russia had hoped that the military operation in Ukraine would be completed by establishing a government royal. With that in mind, Russia repeatedly called on the Ukrainian army at the beginning of the war to revolt and bring down the Zelensky government. That didn't happen. Russia probably hoped that a section of Ukraine citizens would welcome 2030. There has been support in Ukraine for politicians loyal to Russia. Yanukovych won the election in 2010. Historically, due to language and cultural ties, many Ukrainians felt a kind of bond with Russia. Russia, on the other hand, has never recognized Ukraine's independence. In of these articles, Vladimir Putin described Ukraine and Russia as one nation. He said the same thing to US President Biden. Russia estimates it will receive support for inside Ukraine, but the kind of nationalist thing that has developed among people who have enjoyed independence for 3 decades is what makes them even more anti-Russia. At the time of this attack, with the onset of the military operation, the magnitude of the refugee problem has been negative for Russia on the other hand, and the general population against Russia on the other hand. Danger inside Russia. Putin, who has been in power for 20 years, was able to maintain this authoritarian rule. One of the reasons began that he was able to create a kind of stability. Authoritarian rules of any kind try to legitimize their rule by saying that the economy is successful. But sanctions imposed on Russia in recent days have had a devastating effect on ordinary people. The ruble has fallen so much that no one knows how much more it will cost. Putin and his allies probably did not realize how quickly the West sanctions would affect the economy. Although Putin wants to show this war as Russia's struggle for survival against the West, it will continue to unacceptable to the Russia. As is already event for anti-war rallies in various cities, Russia has tightened control on expression. The more dissatisfaction within the country due to this, the more repressive measures the government will take. Needless to say, there are Russian citizens who support Putin's soya, but it remains to be seen what role this small group of beneficiaries who have sided with Putin for so long will play in face of such economic pressure because this ban has been imposed on them. These events could affect Putin's behavior. You can make the confiance strategy more brutal to settle the war quickly. By using practice.